Hey, my name's Izzy. This is Rolling Virtual Cards coming at you with another Commander Top 20. This time we're doing 7 Mana Drop. Okay, let's get into it. Let's talk about the top 27 drops in Commander. First off, we got a legendary. We've got Dracoseth Maw Flames. This is 4 and 3 red for a 7/7 legendary creature dragon with flying. Whenever Dracoseth attacks, it deals 4 damage to any target and 3 damage to each of up to 2 other targets. Okay, so let's talk about what makes this a 20. Again, going over what 10, like the top 10 is compared to the top 20. Top 10 you're going to see probably in any game. Like, the chances are you will run into a top 10 in any game. Now, the higher the CMC, the less likely. That being said, though, a lot of these 7s are going to be big game enders or functional pieces within a deck, a very popular deck. Dracoseth Maw Flames fits a pretty decent engine of removal in dragon decks or in like big stompy gruel decks, right? That, and it's a great card to revive from your graveyard in like Rakdos or Bug decks. Is it Bug? No, Bug is green, black, red. Spacing out of the name. But yeah. What does it do? Okay, this is a 7/7 legendary creature dragon with flying. Okay, so let's go over that. 7 for a 7/7 isn't bad. Okay, now, as a commander, that means 3 hits, you remove them from the game. Okay? This is pretty cool. This also means double strike, 2 hits, next turn you're threatening lethal, and double strike with 4 extra damage on it, or 4 extra power, is a single hit, which is pretty easy to do. Okay? But this other part's the interesting part, right? Whenever Dracoseth attacks, it deals 4 damage to any target and 3 damage to each of up to 2 other targets. This gives you a commander with field control, which, although is not the best thing on a commander, is still really nice to just know, okay, at least my commander, when it hits the ground, if it survives a rotation, it's going to remove like 3 problems. Or it's going to do 4 to 1 opponent, 3 to 2 others, and then 7 more once it hits. So, like, a one swing with this, if everything connects, you're looking at, like, 10, 17 damage, which is pretty good. But it's here at number 20, obviously, because not every deck can run this. 3 red pips really makes it lackluster in a lot of senses. You can't really run a card in every single deck that has 3 red pips. Again, if you're a graveyard recursion deck, like, that breaks the rules. But I would keep this down to 2 color decks or lower, unless you're cheating it out, of course. That being said, it's also probably pretty good in most dragon decks, which is nice. And there's a lot of popular dragon commanders where Dracoseth just kind of fits as, like, yeah, I want a dragon in my deck, but it's also a removal piece. And when you're looking at creating a commander deck that's tribal or focused on a theme, like a proper theme, right? What you're doing, the best options to do is to really find pieces that fit that theme, but also are draw, like some type of card advantage, ramp, or interaction. This fits the theme of dragons or flying or red devotion, but is also removal, which is great. That's really good. It's a recursion that, again, does removal. I don't think it's not a be-all, end-all, I win the game card. And because of that, some people will ignore it. Some people will be like, I'm not a threat. He's not going to hit me for 7. He's going to hit them. And then he's going to remove some of their problematic cards. So that's fine. I'll just sit here and do my thing. And if you can get a table like that where like 1 or 2 people are like, he's not going to hit me, that Dracoseth is going to hit that guy who's in the lead, and his 3 triggers are going to hit his 3 creatures, removing them. And that'll even the value failed. then you got something going. So yeah, that being said, Dracoseth 20. Let's roll up to number 19. Approach of the Second Sun. Here we go. Here's a win con. Okay, 6 and a white for a sorcery. If Approach of the Second Sun was cast from your hand, and you've cast another spell named Approach of the Second Sun this game, you win the game. Otherwise, put Approach of the Second Sun into the owner's library, 7th from the top, and you gain 7 life. This is a win con. It is a casual win con because we still have yet to find a way to make it really CEDH viable. I do have it as a win con in my CEDH deck, but my CEDH deck isn't normally played. So I play Tevish and Tymna. So yeah, Tymna? Yeah, Tymna and Tevish. So Approach is just a great one for stalling out stuff. That being said, Approach is here because it's a win con. But it's not a great win con, which is, well, okay. Approach of the Second Sun is between a rock and a hard spot. It's not good enough for CDH decks, but it's too good for casual. It hits that 3 to 4. Where like, yeah, no, I'm playing a little bit stronger deck. Here's my approach. Maybe you have is it Reprieval? That newer, the white one that bounces it back to your hand, so then you can cast it next turn. Although if you want to cast it the same turn, that's 7, 8, 9, 4. That's 7, 14, plus 2. So you need like 16 mana. Yeah, no. But it's also just good in like stall decks where they can't really stop you, and decks that you draw a lot, so that you can just draw into it and cast it again. But that's the problem. Like casting it twice to win the game costs 14 mana, so even if you could draw into it, that's 14 mana, so you need infinite mana. So it makes it hard. There just hasn't been a commander in CDH to break Approach the Second Sun. Once there is, which I believe there will be one day, this card will probably go up at that point, and you'll see it a lot more in CDH for that like one specific deck that wins with it. Because it does say you win the game, so there's got to be ways to break it. Then we just need a commander that keeps it in your hand or something. But yeah, Approach is a great card. It wins you the game, but that's the issue. Because it just easily wins you the game, a lot of casual people go like, I don't want to run this. It's a little... I want to win by hitting people or doing some type of like damage, not just by playing an I win card. That being said, again, a lot of people like I win cards. I love I win cards. I think they're so fun to build decks around. If you ever want to build a fun deck, choose an I win card or a card that says you lose or target opponent loses. It's so fun to build decks around that. All of that to be said, I think Approaching the Second Sun is a really good card, but it should be at 19 right now because of like kind of like in between level of where it can be played. 18 is Butcher of Malakir. This is 5 and 2 black for a 5/4 vampire warrior with flying. When Butcher of Malakir or another creature you control dies, each opponent sacrifices a creature. So this does a few things. This is a control piece. It is a board control freeze. Number one, it's a creature. So unlike the 5-drop, I think it's a 5 and a 4-drop, enchantments that do the same effect, this one can be resurrected. So you can do it for much cheaper. Get it out on the field for cheap. Now, there's a few good things about it being a creature. Number one, if someone were to remove Butcher, each opponent still sacrifices a creature. So they go and they destroy Butcher Malakir, and all of a sudden, each opponent loses a creature. And if they're only running like their commander and it's a Voltron, they're going to be like, I can't let Butcher die. I need to make sure my Voltron's here, so they're not going to let your guy lose. And if they don't have a lot of like simple things to just sacrifice to it, you're going to run into a lot of issues where people are like, I can't really remove Butcher. But they're going to have to remove Butcher if you're just aristocrating. Because this card is great in aristocrat decks where you're just like, oh, look, you guys don't have any creatures. And you can never have creatures. Because I will continue to sacrifice things on your turn. So just don't bother playing creatures. It's fun. It also works with tokens. So there's a lot of things Butcher can do. What it doesn't do is win you the game. Which again is why it's down here at 18. It doesn't win you the game in like some cool fashion. There's no... It is an engine piece. It's a great engine piece with any token deck and stuff, which is great. But it is 7. And so there are just a few more pieces that just kind of like are cards that like really outshine Butcher. And if you notice, once you get to 7, these are some of the cards that you go like, oh, I really like this card, but I'm probably going to drop it for my deck. You test it, you go, Butcher, I can never cast it. Right? Where Butcher shines, again, is graveyard decks. Oh, yeah, I'm going to get Butcher back, because this way, if someone removes Butcher or another one of my problematic big creatures, I get something out of it, right? They have to remove Butcher first before removing my other card, my other creatures, because they're going to lose stuff constantly if they keep removing the other bug guys. It's protection in that way. It kind of shelters you. It goes, you need 2 removals. 1 for Butcher, which is still going to 3 for 1 the table, right? And 1 for the other card you actually want to remove. So, yeah. But Butcher Malakir does a lot. And I think it works better as a protection piece again for your big creatures than it does as the chaining with aristocrat decks. I think the other lower powered and lower CMC enchantments work better there. Let's move on to 17. All is Dust. Okay, All is Dust is a great removal. 7 generic for a tribal sorcery Eldrazi. Each player sacrifices all permanents they control that are 1 or more colors. Okay, All is Dust is ran in every single colorless deck. And practically every single artifact-based deck. Because, yeah, like any colorless deck needs a board wipe, and All is Dust is that board wipe. It's like the only board wipe colorless deck gets, which is probably good enough in and out of itself to place it at 17. That being said, you need a little bit more bump probably, and that little bit more bump comes from like colorless heavy decks that are like focusing on artifacts. You can go like, yeah, I'm running an artifact deck that's All is Dust. Yeah, I might lose my commander that's more than 1 color, but my artifact creatures are going to be here, and they can just swing in afterwards for game. So that's kind of like the big push with All is Dust. It does 2 things very well, and there's no other card that really does that. And it makes them sacrifice all permanents. So this is all permanents, doesn't care if they're indestructible, doesn't care if they have hexproof. It's just like, now they're gone. You can't sacrifice them in response to All is Dust. Maybe you can? I don't know. I'd have to double check that. But, yeah. All is Dust, great card. Absolutely deserves to be at 17. Moving on to, is that 7? Yeah, that is 17. 20, 19, 18, okay. Now moving on to 16. Nyx Bloom Ancient, another 3-pip card. 4 generic, 3 green for a 5/5 enchantment creature elemental. Trample. If you tap a permanent for mana, it produces 3 times as much that mana instead. Here's the thing about Nyx Bloom. Here's the thing. Some people think it's what's the word? Overkill? Overreaching? The concept is you shouldn't need more than 7 mana to win the game. Now, casually, yeah, sure. If you're cheating Nyx Bloom Ancient out in some way, that's better. But if you're in like a 1 or 2 color deck and you're just like heavy on mana and you're like, let's get Nyx Bloom Ancient out. Now it's here. If no one removes it next turn, I go from like 7 mana. Let's say you're minimum 7 mana. Next turn, you play a land. You go up to 8 mana, and that's 8 times 3. So you're at, all of a sudden, 24 mana next turn. This is a remove on spot card, or you probably win next turn. Okay? But again, it doesn't win you the game. It just produces a lot of mana for you. So you need another card to win with it. And it's a target to get removed because of how much mana you're going to have. And that like leads it to be like that 16 spot, right? Like it's good. It's really good. But with 3 green pips. This is mono green or 2 color for the most part, unless you're resurrecting it or cheating it out of the field somehow. And again, since it doesn't win you the game, it kind of just feels lackluster in the long run. You're going to see better cards above this, obviously. And I think that's like kind of honestly where this sits, okay? Just like all the rest here, it does its one thing very well. But is its one thing needed in a lot of decks? Probably not. Most decks can win under this ceiling of needing 28 mana. 28 plus mana in one turn, right? So let's get to 15. Number 15 is Nezahal, Primal Tide. 5 and 2 blue for a 7/7 legend creature Eldrazi dinosaur. This card is not ran as a commander very much. It can be very fun commander. Almost all the Elder dinosaurs are fun commanders. The mono black is not fun. Doesn't really work. And the mono white's boring, but what's new? But here's what this does. 7/7 Elder Dinosaur. This spell can't be countered. Number one, that's already great, okay? You're probably not going to always run up against counter decks. But if you do, Nezahal doesn't have to worry about. You have no maximum hand size. That's just a perk. When an opponent casts a non-creature spell, draw a card. Another perk. That's why it's ran. You're going to be drawing a lot of cards. Whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, draw a card. Oh, you're going to cast a non-creature spell? Cool, let me draw a card. Let me draw a card. You're going to just pile up the cards. Then, its last effect, discard 3 cards, exile Nezahal Primal Tide, return to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control at the beginning of the next instant. This just says, hey, yo, you can't touch me. Now, you don't get to draw during that little, like, to the beginning of the next instant. So their turn, like, if they just start off with a path on Nezahal and you have to discard 3 cards, and then they're like, cool, now I can try to win. Cool, but they had to do that. They had to waste their removal and, like, at least 1 mana to try to get rid of it. And I think that's worth it. Nezahal is a great card advantage card. Again, though, it's not winning you the game. It's just card advantage. We've seen, if you saw my 6 mana video, a lot of 6-drops that just kind of win you the game. Nezahal doesn't. Nezahal can be worked around. Nezahal can be... can force you into poor situations where people just, like, every turn remove it, or attempt to remove it, and you go, crap, I gotta save it, and then all of a sudden you just have so little mana, you can't really do much about it, okay? So, overall, I think Nezahal is a great card, but I do think, as the list shows, there's like 14 cards better than it. Next up, at number 14, is Hour of Reckoning. Okay? 4 and 3 white for sorcery with Convoke, which means your creatures can help you cast the spell. Each creature you tap while casting this spell pays for either one of the generic or one of the mana of the creature's color. Destroy all non-token creatures, okay? Now, just like we've talked in like the past few videos, tokens are popular. Very, very popular. Okay? They're like one of the most, other than tribes, they're probably up there as one of the most popular deck types. Our Reckoning abuses those tokens to cast what is almost certainly a free board wipe that doesn't touch your tokens. The only time this is bad, and the reason why it's at 14, are 2 things. 1, other token decks don't care if you cast Hour of Reckoning, so there's a chance, because of how popular token decks are, that it doesn't do as much as you want it to do. And 2, if you're not running a token deck, there are better board wipes that only cost 4 or less mana to cast it. That being said as well, a going wide strategy can technically cast Hour of Reckoning for free, making it still a pretty decent spell. Okay? So this is at 14. I think it's a pretty good card, not gonna lie, but it's not the best. It's just what amounts to a free board wipe. But free board wipes are still really good. If you can't make this a free board wipe, meaning you're not in a go wide deck, or you're not in a token deck, which are usually go wide decks, don't play it. Ignore it. It's just really good in those specific decks. Moving on to 13. Oh, here we go. Let's butcher a name, guys. Zopondrel Hunger Dominus. This is 5 and 2 green for for a 4/6 legendary creature, Phyrexian Horror with Reach. And at the beginning of each combat, double the power and toughness of each creature you control until end of turn. For 2 Phyrexian Green, which means you can be paid either with green or 2 life, sacrifice 2 other creatures and put an indestructible counter on Zapandrel, Hunger Dominus. Is Zapandrel good? Yes, Zapandrel wins you the game. Zapandrel can win you a game in a go tall deck. Not necessarily. Okay, so kind of in a go wide deck. Okay, 1/1s aren't enough for Zapandrel. Okay, but Zapandrel loves probably 2/2s, but more likely 3/3s. If you're going wide with like 3 power and like a green white like Anthem deck, Zapandrel's a great finisher. You drop it for 7, you're like, boom, let's go to combat. Here's all my little enchantresses and other creatures that are like, because of my Anthem, they're around like 3 to 4, maybe 5, and you're just gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna just double the power of each of them. So now those 3s or 6s, those 4s or 8s, and the 5s or 10s, and you're just like, yeah, let's get in there. And you're just vicious. You're gonna go at it. And mind you, it says each creature you control, which includes it. Zapandrel has one other use. If your commander can double to win, that's great. What does this mean? If you are in like green, white, and your commander is needs to get to that 11, and they're like a 6/6 or like a 6x, Zapandrel brings it to 12. So then double strike wins you the game. If your commander is like 11 plus power, Zapandrel just wins you the game on the spot there. Well, it wins you the game. It removes an opponent usually. So there's a lot you can do with Zapandrel. Even as a commander itself, you can just kind of like put a lot of, because green has the most enchantress effects. So in green, you can run a lot of enchantments like auras on it to buff it. And then once it gets to 11, you can one-hit people because you double its power double its power and toughness at the beginning of your combat. And that's the beginning of each combat, by the way, so that means blocking, you have good things too. So Zapandrel is a great number 13. Let's get to number 12. Mirror Battlesphere. For 7 mana, you get 4/7 artifact creature Mirror Construct. When this creature enters, create 4 1/1 colorless Mirror artifact creature tokens. Whenever this creature attacks, you may tap X untap mirrors you control. If you do, this creature gets +X/+0 until end of turn, and deals X damage to the player or planeswalker it's attacking. Okay, let's talk about Mirror Battlesphere. You've probably seen it. It's sitting at number 12, okay? You've probably gone like, why is this card loved so much by so many people? What does it do? What does it really do, right? Well, let's break it down text by text, okay? Or step by step. 7 generic is always good. You don't have to worry about the color. It can be in a multitude of decks. So already, it's not being restricted to any decks. It can be played in every deck. That's going to pump it up. Next, it's a 4/7. Very hard to kill a 4/7 with burn damage. Okay? Now, that's not necessarily that, like, important in EDH Commander, but it's not bad. Next, it hits the field and makes 4 1/1 colorless mirror artifact creature tokens. What does this mean for us? What this means is that blink decks like it, because it can be blinked to make a bunch of tokens. 2, token decks like it, because it comes in and makes 4 tokens. On turn 7, if you have a token doubler, that's 8 1/1s. Also, tribal decks like it, and by that I mean mirror decks love Battlesphere. It's a great win con, or a player removal card in a mirror deck. You got a bunch of mirrors, you Battlesphere out, you swing with the Battlesphere next turn, you've got like 20 mirrors, tap on it, 20 damage to an opponent, plus you hit them for 24 damage, they're out of the game, right? Great. Next, it's a lot of damage. It attacks, and you may tap X, untap mirrors you control. Okay? If you just have the 4 mirrors, you can tap those 4 mirrors, and all of a sudden, it's an 8/7. That just dealt 4 damage to the opponent and or planeswalker's face. The best part about the Planeswalker thing is that it removes the Planeswalker or deals the damage to it prior to blocks. So you still deal damage to a Planeswalker, preventing it from going off, which is a niche thing, but still a nice little, like, a little cheese on top of the salad, if you'd like to, if you want an idea of that, okay? Okay. Next, the art's cool. How do I know the art's cool? Because they've never changed it. They've never changed it. It has existed since Scars of Mirrodin, and they've never changed it. Why? Because it's a cool, really funny mirror card. I love mirrors. I'll tell you that right now. But bottom line, why is this card so popular? Why is it sitting at number 12 on our list? I'll tell you why. Because it just happens to fit some of the most popular themes. Blinking, tribal, and tokens. And since it fits those 3 themes, instead of just 1, 3, it's also a win con in those decks. Or a player removal con in those decks. Because Battlesphere, if you running a token deck, you could probably run a lot of mirrors, and it's going to get, like, out of control. If you double and you have 8 and you swing, that's 8 damage to someone's face, plus another 12. That's 20 damage right there if someone's open. 20 damage to someone late game around 7, if you've been doing a lot of damage with your tokens, is enough to win. Blinking, don't get me started on it. You flicker Mirror Battlesphere 2 or 3 times, and you've got like 16 mirrors all of a sudden, because you flickered it 4 times, and now it can attack, and you tap all 16 mirrors. That's 16 damage, plus another 20 coming at your face. That's 36 damage, you're out of the gate. It's a player removal card. It's a great thing. And in mirror decks, it's mirror win con. I love this card. It's so fun. It's so funny. It's still one of the first cards I think about removing from every single deck when I put it in a deck. I go, well, that's good, but like, do I want to focus on it? Does it really work with my commander? If my commander's the blinker, yes, it does. If my commander's the token doubler, yeah, it does. Otherwise, I usually remove it. But, or if it's a mirror deck, it's in the deck, obviously, because it's fun. But it's fun, and I don't think it won't fail you. Mainly because people see it and think it's funny and leave it alone. So let's move it to 11. 11, Kindred Dominance. Let's talk about Tribal again. 5 and 2 black for a sorcery. Choose a creature type. Destroy all creatures that aren't of the chosen type. This is Tribal board, right? It's very selective. So it's 7 mana. Very expensive. But it usually wins you the game. Regardless. So, unlike the token removal one, which, yes, could be cast for free, the downside about that one is you gotta tap your stuff, so you can't really attack the same turn. Kindred Dominance, you can attack the same turn. You name your creature type, and unless an opponent is playing the same creature type, you usually do not have to worry about them surviving. So, unless you happen to be going up against like other demons and your 2 demon decks, most of the time you'll remove them, and Kindred Dominance will do its job, which is just straight up player removal, saying goodbye, get out of here, we don't want you anymore. It's just a good card for any tribal deck that has black in it. It's a good board wipe. I think it's worth running. There's a reason it's at number 11. Let's get to the top 10. After I check to make sure this is actually the top 10. I was correct. Number 10. This is 10. So we're getting into cards you're going to see a lot more. Okay. Breach the Multiverse is 5 and 2 black for sorcery. Each player mills 10 cards. Okay. We're going to take this card by card because there's a lot to this. Okay. Mill 10 cards. This is great in any mill deck. 7 mana to make the mill 10 cards. Plus it does something else. Cool. Let's see what else it does. Each player chooses a creature or planeswalker card in that... for each player, choose a creature or planeswalker card in that player's graveyard. Okay, that's fine. Put those cards onto the battlefield under your control. Okay. Then each creature you control becomes a Phyrexian in addition to its other types. Okay, that last part isn't needed. Unless you're playing Elish Norn in your deck too. Because Elish Norn wipes all non-Phyrexians, so... It works in that deck in a really funny way. But this card's a win con. It is. It might not seem like it. It might rely on your opponents. But you're going to get the best card in your graveyard. The best card in each of your opponent's graveyard. Whether it's a Planeswalker or their best creature. Now, sure. Maybe you dud on 2 of these. But, like, you're going to get something. Even if you just grab a Steve to sacrifice to go ramp you. That's something. Okay? Breach of the Multiverse is actually a really good card depending on the deck you're running. And if you're playing like mill deck, you're going to have a lot of their cards to choose from because it doesn't have to be of the 10 cards you mill. It's any card in their graveyard. If you're playing a hand discard deck, that's great. And if you're playing an interactive deck where you're removing their big problems, this is 7. You're not going to play Breach unless you know there's something good to pick out of. And then maybe they mill something better out of the top 10. You're going to play Breach. When you look at their graveyards, you're going to go, I'm going to look at everyone's graveyards. Okay. Yeah, okay. That's good. This makes sense. Yeah, you're telegraphing you're playing Breach. But, like, come on. You need to, well, maybe not Breach, but some type of graveyard advantage thing. But, like, people know that. That's the deck you're playing. Breach is great in that regard. It does its job. It just gives you the 4 really good things and says, try to stop me now. I paid 7 to get 4 bombs. You paid 7 to play 1 bomb. Checkmate. It's also great to play after someone just played Kindred Dominance and you're just like, cool, let me steal those guys' good things. And, oh, look, I got something good after your top 10. Yeah. Breach is a great card. If you're playing black and some type of graveyard manipulation, either you're milling them or you're discarding them or you're playing enough removal to remove their threats, once there's enough threats, Breach can just win you the game. On to the next. Number 9, Old Gnawbone. 5 and 2 green for a 7/7 legendary creature dragon. Flying. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, create that many treasure tokens. This is win more. But sir, ma'am, madam, mademoiselle, did you not just say that Winmore shouldn't be in the top 10? I did. You are correct. Thank you for watching and listening with your ear holes. The thing about Old Gnawbone, no one cares that it's Winmore. It's just a good card. 7 mana is expensive, but not as expensive as 8 or 9 or 10. Old Gnawbone does something on entrance. Not by itself, but at that 7 drop, at that cheating this out on turn 3 or 4, you probably have some creatures that can get in for damage. And there's probably one opponent who's behind and doesn't have creatures to block with. And it's whenever a creature deals combat damage to a player, create that many treasure tokens, and they don't come in tapped. So you played Old Gnawbone, you attack with your 3 creatures that deal 6 damage, and you all of a sudden get 6 treasures. This is great in a treasure deck, in token decks, in dragon decks, in go wide strategies, go tall strategies, in green big stompy decks, in dragon decks, in flying decks. It just does something. It's also great in token decks where you need a lot of tokens. Old Gnawbone does that for you. It just says, here's a lot of mana for you, okay? Why is it more higher than arguably the better card, the Elemental? Because it's a dragon. And dragon's the most popular card type to play tribally. And next to dragon, it's a token creator. And tokens are very popular. And it's only 2 pips, which is easier to cast than 3 pips. So it does a lot to really push it up to 9. Dragons are popular, tokens are popular, treasures are popular. Even if you're not playing a token deck, just a treasure deck is good. It's a creature hit deck, and creature hit decks are more popular than ramp decks. It does so much with so little that it's just good. And if you had a choice between this and the other one, Old Gnawbone's going to fail you yet less. Because you can drop it, and as long as you got some creatures to go flying in or just running in and punching people, it's worth playing. Whereas with the other one, you're going to have a lot of things ready to tap and stuff. This is my cat. I'm paying my cat tax. Oh, you're okay. Sorry. She doesn't like being held like that. She does like being pet like this, though. This is my kitty cat. I'm going to set her down now. Down you go. She likes to be annoying. But she's the love of my kitty cat life. So, Old Gnawbone is really good. Let's get up to number 8. Number 8, Ruinous Ultimatum. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's talk about a win con. Let's talk about a win con. I've been talking about them, kind of. But this, my friends, is a 3-color win con. Ruinous Ultimatum is 2 red, 3 white, and 2 black. Oh, crap, that's going to be hard to cast for you. Sorcery. Destroy all non-land permanents your opponents control. That wins you the game. If you cast this card on like turn 7 and you have good mana, if you have bad mana, please don't run this card. If you're running a bunch of basics, this card's going to be dead in your hand a lot. You're going to need good mana to cast this card. I'm just warning you, okay? Okay. That warning out of the way. You cast this card, you set your opponents back too far. If it doesn't get countered, you remove all their non-land permanents. All of them. Now, yes, it's destroy, so if they have an indestructible, cool. That's fine. Or, like, some type of, like, recursion card. That's fine. But, all non-land permanents. This is their battles, their creatures, their planeswalkers, their enchantments, their artifacts, their everything. All of it. Not their lands. So it's not land removal, so it's fair. But if you're in Mardu and you're a creature deck, or you're just any deck, Ruinous Ultimatum is such a great card to just go, hey, guess what? You're gone. And here's a cool special cast art. And a cool fallout art. It's a good card. I highly suggest testing it out. Again, if you're playing a cheaper land base, I suggest avoiding it. Which is probably why it's this far down. People see the heavy amount and go, it doesn't technically win the game. I need to have a board state to be able to do this. But even if you don't have a board state, it pushes your opponents farther back so you can catch up. And I mean farther back. Okay? The only thing Ruinous Ultimatum doesn't touch, which sucks, is lands. And the reason why that sucks is those stinking stupid land decks. How am I supposed to stop you? You're ramping with lands. We're not supposed to touch lands. If Ruinous Ultimatum also said that, like, it had, like, a balance effect, that your opponents had to sacrifice lands so that they were equal, somehow, like, I need a small rant tangent that Ruinous Ultimatum brought on. You can, I guess, skip a little forward if you don't care about my rants. But that's why you come here, I hope. I rant. It's my job. Not my job. It's my hobby. Ranting is my hobby. We need more fair land control. Balance is not the option. Balance says, I have 2 lands. You guys are all down to 2. That's not fun. What is fun is having some type of median effect in the form of land wiping. Count up the number of lands, choose the average, and everyone has to go to that. So, like, let's bring up a calculator for this, because I like this. Okay, so in this thing, let's say you have 5 lands and an opponent has 4 lands because they missed 1. Poor little Billy over there missed 2, and that guy over there has ramped to 6. You're at 18 all of a sudden. Now, if you divide 18 by 4, you get 4.5. Let's round up. Everyone goes to 5 lanes. Okay? So, the people behind don't get hurt. You don't get hurt. But the person with the most lands has to go down to 5 lands. Okay? Something like this would be great. Okay? Like, you're not punishing them into the oblivion. You're not putting them at nothing. You're putting them at the second highest. I don't know how to do that without putting math of an average, right? You could do something like target player must sacrifice lands equal to X, where X is the difference between their land, the amount of lands they have, and the amount of lands the player with the second most lands have, or something like that. So like you just punish someone a little, or target player sacrifices half their lands, something like that, where like, okay, at like 2 it's not that bad, you're not going to play it at 2, but if they're at 10, knock them down to 5. Or give me something like target player with 5 or more, or like 6 or more lands, or 10 or more lands, sacrifices 4 lands or 3 lands, right? Like something to just punish people for land ramp. They need to add it, because casually it's a nuisance. Rant over. Ruinous Ultimate is great. Again, if you have good land, good mana coloring, like color fixing, Ultimatum's a great way to win the game. Moving on to, I think this 9, 8, 7. Moving on to 7. Okay, let's talk about the Meteor Golem in the room. Meteor Golem. Sitting at number 6, I think, right? I think I just counted that, right? Yeah, 10, 9. Is that? 1 second again. Glad I counted this time. It's 7. It does stuff and it's popular, but it does stuff and it's popular because it's in so many pre-cons. Is it good? Is it bad? Let's talk about it. There's another 7 that'll come up later that I hate, but, you know, I'll be fair. 7 generic for a 3/3 artifact creature golem. When this creature enters, destroy target non-land permanent and opponent controls. Let's talk about this at whole. 7 generic is good. We already talked about that. Okay. ETBs are good. Great in Flicker decks. Artifacts are very popular. Great in those decks. This is an okay recursion target, but not a great recursion target unless you're playing a Flicker deck. Because do you really want to recur a 3/3 that destroys 1 non-land permanent? Probably not. But it is removal for colorless decks. So it starts to stack up. Okay, you're running an artifact deck. An artifact creature deck that can lower the cost of artifacts. Meteor Golem does this. You want a no-holds-bar removal of any non-land card, and you're running like low colors. Meteor Golem does this. You're running a Flicker deck. Meteor Golem really helps you with just removing problematic cards there. Okay, you're running a Golem deck. Meteor Golem's a Golem. There's not a lot of those. And there you go. I mean, it's 7 for a 3/3, guys. It's 7 for a 3/3. It's just, I can't defend it. Like, okay, if you're playing a blink or copy deck, maybe. Okay? Maybe then. Okay, it's a good removal. It's the best removal in that case. In a deck that, like in a blue-white blink deck, which are most blink decks, that lack green, so you can't run the elephant, that does about the same thing. I think it's like 1 more mana or something. This does it for you. And like, it's a high CMC, which is good for certain artifact decks. So there's like niches here, but like, it doesn't win you the game. It barely does anything for you. I don't get the love of Meteor Golem. You're going to hear a better rant later on about another 7-drop, I believe. That's a little higher. But I just, 7th place, like, man, I mean, sure, it's colorless, so you can be ran in any deck. And, like, black decks have issues removing certain cards. So, yeah, Meteor Golem fits there. And red has issues removing enchantments. Meteor Golem does that for them. And so, like, you save it to remove that one really problematic card, and then it just sits there and does nothing. Like, if this was 7 for, like, a 7/7, sure. Like, nowadays, if you remade Meteor Golem, it would be 7 for, like, a 6/5 with Trample that does the same thing. And then you'd be like, okay, at least I'm getting a big beater out of it. You're not even getting a big beater out of Meteor Golem, guys. Come on, don't put it in your deck. Please, be better than this. be better than Meteor Golem. Or be better than me, and let me know why Meteor Golem is so beloved by everyone. Other than nostalgia. If you come at me with this nostalgia, sure. That's why it's up there. Nostalgia. The only reason why it should be up there is nostalgia. Let's move to number 6 before I have an aneurysm. Number 6, Seagate Restoration. Here's a good card. 4 and 3 blue for sorcery. Draw a card equal to the number of cards in your hand plus 1. You have no maximum hands over the rest of the game. Plus, you can play it as a land, and it comes in tapped unless you pay 3 life. If you're in blue, put this in your deck. Just do it. Okay, if you're in 2 or less color blues, maybe even 3 or less color blues, put it in your deck. The fact that it can just be a land means you can just remove a land for it. The 3 life won't matter that much in Commander, and it's just a good card. Like, you play this for 7 mana, you draw like 6 cards, and you're like, cool, now I'm at 12, I can't do anything, I pass, but, you all of a sudden drew 6 cards, and you don't have to discard them. It's also good enough to run in EDH decks. In any blue deck, for the most, or CEDH decks. The reason it's pretty good in those decks is because it's a good draw card late in the game. The reason why it's not bad is because it can be played as a land early game. If you're playing a, dang, what's the card called? Ad nauseum deck, that's when you remove it because it's doing too much damage. It's 7, that's too dangerous. But if it's not an ad nos deck, Seagate Restoration can draw you a lot of cards. You can draw like 5, 6, 7 cards off of it. And having no maximum hand size for the rest of the game with nothing interfering with that is useful. Not always needed in CEDH, but not hated. Overall, though, it's just a really good card that's to be played in blue decks. Just to give you that big draw. If the game is going late, this is going to really help you push to that. Okay, I'll win next turn. Everyone's got a chance to win. I'll win next turn. Which is the antithesis. Antithesis? Antithesis. I think it's antithesis. Let me know if it's antithesis or some other way of pronouncing that card. The antithesis of casual. I'll win next turn. Because giving everyone a chance to win is fun. Seagate. It's number 6. Let's get to the top 5. Number 5. Oh, my baby. It's Atali, Primal Conqueror. Okay, I love this card. I love it so much. It's such a fun deck. If you guys watch Play to Win, Cam loves this deck. It's his baby. Atali, Primal Conqueror is 5 and 2 red. For a 7/7 legend creature, Elder Dinosaur with Trample. When Atali the Conqueror enters the battlefield, each player exiles cards from the top of the library until they exile a non-land card. You may cast that card. You may cast any number of cards from among them. From among the non-land cards exiled this way without paying the mana cost. 9 in Phyrexian green. Transform it, activate only as a sorcery. This is why this is a green-red deck. Trample Indestructible. When Atali Primal Sickness deals combat damage to a player, that player gets that many poison counters. So this does one-shot people. Okay? Now, casually, such a good card. 7 drop as a commander. It's Gruul, probably the best Gruul commander out there, by the way. It's 7 to cast. You get a 7/7. You get 4 things out of this usually. A lot of times you hit 1 lands, or at least usually like 3 things out of it. Then, the next turn, you can transform. Well, okay, maybe not the next turn. Unless you got some ramp off that. Then, yeah, next turn. But yeah, soon you can transform it. And this just puts a 3-turn clock on everyone. Well, I mean, with blocking, it doesn't. But, like, you'll slowly be able to just beat the crap out of people. And, yeah, it's pretty good. I really enjoy Eternal Primal Sickness. CEDH doesn't care about that. You just keep casting Atali over and over again and just get a lot of card advantage. And then if you can infinitely cast it over and over again, you exile everyone's deck. So, yeah. Atali Primal Conqueror is great. It's a fun deck. I think it's great commander-wise or CDH-wise and casual-wise. But what about in the 99? It can't just be this high because it's a really popular commander, right? I mean, it's number 5. And here's the thing. It's a win con in Gruul decks. Or in recursion decks. You get a Tali out. You get something from it right away. Remember, when it enters, each player exile, when it enters the battlefield, it doesn't have to be cast. Okay? Flicker decks love it. Okay? Atali just goes, boom. Let me get 4 cards. The issue with the original Atali is it has to hit, so you need to give it haste, so you have to wait. You can't just cast it on 6, though it's still a popular card. You need way to give it haste, otherwise it will be removed. Atali Primal Conqueror doesn't care. It hits the field and goes, hey, let's get stuff. It also has Trample, which is really good. The thing about this card is that not only does it give you cards, it also gives you a way to just deck someone in the face and remove them. Which is really good in like any color deck. This card's good in a lot of decks. It doesn't cost a lot of color to get out, and it doesn't even cost colors to transform because you can pay 2 life instead of the green. So you can run this in a lot of decks and not have to worry about the color fixing. It's just a really good card that gives you stuff on the entrance and wins you the game on the backside, on the back end. Run it more often. I highly suggest it. Don't run this stupid March of the Machine promo card because the coins are stupid and I hate them. And if you run the coin versions, I think less of you. Number 4, Elesh Norn Grand Cenobite Classic. Now this is how you do a classic. Take notes, Meteor Golem. Elesh Norn Grand Cenobite is 5 generic for 2 white for a 4/7 legendary creature Praetor with Vigilance. Other creatures you control get +2/+2. Creatures your opponent control get -2/-2. This removes all their small things, including tokens, and you know how popular tokens are, and buffs your stuff, like your tokens, and you know how popular tokens are. And it buffs all your hate bears. This is Mama Hate Bear. I know it says Praetor. I know it's a Phyrexian Praetor, but this is Mama Hate Bear. I'm going to introduce you to her. Mama Hate Bear says, hey, you know those pesky little guys that were preventing you from swinging in with your hate bears to win the game? They're gone. Don't worry about them. Mama gotcha. Oh, hey, you know all those little like 1 3s and 3 1s and 2 4s that you have? Yeah, they're all going to get +2/+2. And you got 10 of them or 12 of them. Oh, you accidentally spilled out like 20 little like tokens? Cool. Those 1/1s, they're 3 3s. Yeah, Elesh Norn is just a great win con. And it's great in win conless decks. What is a win conless deck, Izzy? Glad you asked, people. Win conless decks are decks that don't run bad cards, only run good cards that interact with their opponents. And Elesh Norn interacts with your opponents and just also happens to help you win the game. It's good. Run it. It's also salty. People don't like this card. They think it's not nice. Because it's a board wipe that helps you. Good. Run it. Elesh Norn, pretty lady. Mama of the hate bears. Send your hate my way. That's number 5. Or that's 5. That's 4. 3 is, hey look, another Phyrexian Praetor. Shieldred Whispery one. 5 and 2 black for a 6/6 legendary creature Praetor with Swamp Walk, which means creatures can't block as long as defending player controls a swamp. Hey, you know what black has? Green also has it. A card that turns all lands into swamps. Enough said. At the beginning of your upkeep, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Thank you. I like Recursion. Recursion's a popular deck type. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, that player sacrifices a creature. Ooh. And it interacts with my opponents. Great. Why is it number 4? 3? It's so popular. Is it better than Elesh Norn? No. But yes. But also no. Okay, so here's the thing. Both these cards are like removal on spot, but like Elesh Norn, if not countered, still wipes a lot of cards off your opponent's side of the field. Shieldred doesn't. It doesn't do anything on ETP. If you've played Shieldred, you've probably had it removed every single time it hits the field because people just go, I don't want to sacrifice my stuff. So you can forget about getting your thing back, and definitely don't play it as your commander. You'll never keep it on the field. Shieldred, unlike Elish Norn, is removed all the time. Some people see Elish Norn and go, that's not that problematic. I've got tall guys. It doesn't matter. Shieldred, though, they're like, I'm going to lose one of my guys. I don't want to select it. Let's just remove Shieldred. Oh, and they're going to get rid of the big guys back. I don't like that. Let's remove Shieldred. Ah! I love Shieldred Whispering One. I used to run it all the time. I had to remove it from my decks because it just doesn't win you the game. It's card advantage, but if your opponents remove it, which they will, it doesn't do anything for you. And that's the problem. It shouldn't be number 3. It should be a lot lower, but a lot of people like it. Now, here's the thing. If you're playing your decks right, you probably have some way to protect it. And if you can protect it, that's great. Also, in 1 and 2, where they're like levels where people like don't run a lot of interaction, Shieldred's great. They don't run a lot of interaction. They also don't run Shieldred. Well, apparently they do, because it's number 3. It's still good. It's still good. It's a good card, okay? But there's a lot that needs to build up to make it work. That's the problem. And if it's removed before your turn, you don't even get a lot out of it. And, like, sure, run it if you have boots. Okay? More people should be running boots and greaves just to protect your stuff like Shieldred and Mommy Hate Bear. And I guess Atali. Atali likes boots. Number 2, Hullbreaker Horror. Hullbreaker Horror is 5 and 2 blue for a 7/8 Kraken Horror. This spell can't be countered. Okay, already good. We like this. We like that it can't be countered. Whenever you cast a spell, choose up to 1. Return target spell you don't control to its owner's hand. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. What does this do? Well, this does a lot of things, okay? Number 1, it's hard to kill. You can't counter it. It has flash, and on top of all of that, if they try to remove it, you can cast a spell and bounce that spell back to their hand, which means they have to cast it again. And eventually they won't have the mana or stuff to cast it, and that leads, like, because it's not a free counter spell, it has to be a free removal spell then. But a lot of free removal spells requires you to, like, remove cards from your hands to play. So yeah, it's hard to get rid of. And it just wins you the game. There's a lot of combos with Hullbreaker Horror where you kind of infinitely loop stuff. And if you can do it at instant speed, which there are cards that let you do that, you can kind of loop like an infinite ETB triggers with like Soul Ring that gives you the mana, which will allow you to just return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand, returning all non-land cards your opponent's control to their hand eventually once you have infinite mana, and you can just keep casting Soul Ring and other cards. It's like an interesting loop that removes your opponent's side of the field. And then, with nothing on their side of the field, you can just kind of go for a win con in some way, shape, or form. There's a lot of things you could do with it. You can look into those win cons. Outside of that, like, again, CDH is one of the reasons why this is so high up. Also, like, high power decks. So you're looking at 5, 4, and 3s that, like, yeah, Hullbreaker Horror is my win con. It's also a Kraken, and CB Kraken decks are very popular. It's interaction, which is really good. It's flash, so you can hold up interaction and cast it on your opponent's instep right before your turn, so you can go off with it. There's a lot you can do with Hullbreaker Horror that just really pushes it to its next level. But that main thing is that it is just a win con with a lot of combos, which just makes it good. It's Tidespout Tyrant, but good. And Tidespout Tyrant used to be good, but it's not anymore because Hullbreaker Horror just does it, but better. Can't they do that with Meteor Golem? Please. And number 1, to no one's surprise, Avenger Zendikar. Hey, you guys know how I told you there's a card on here that I hate more than Meteor Golem? Meet Avenger Zendikar. Avenger Zendikar is 5 and 2 green for a 5/5. I'm going to try to hold it in, guys. Elemental creature. Creature elemental. When this creature enters, create a 0/1 green plant creature token for each land you control. Landfall. When the land you control enters, you may put a 1/1 counter on each plant you control. Cool. Okay. I'm calm. I'm calm, guys. What does this do for you? Let's be positive. If it hits the field in a landfall deck, and you've got like 20 lands on the field. You're going to get 20 0-1s. Then let's say 2 of those lands were fetch lands, and you crack them. And you go and get like 2 lands. And so now those 0-1s are 2 3s. And then you go pass. Let's see if you can stop me. No one got a board wipe? Cool, it's my turn. Landfall deck, let's get 3 more fetches and crack those 3 fetches to get 3 more lands. So that's 6 more triggers. So now that's 8 triggers altogether. So they're 8 9s. Let's swing with my 7 8 9s at everyone. Oh wait, that still doesn't win you the game, guys. 7 8 9s. 7 8 9s. That's funny. 7 8 9s. I didn't do that on purpose, but 7 8 9s isn't great. It's not. It's not great. It's not great. It's not great. It's not. And here's the problem. Sure. Landfall decks love Avengers in their card and go nuts. I think there's better ones, but sure, it's fine in a land-based deck. It's pretty good there. They're not all the decks out there, so why is it number 1? Well, okay. Is it color? No, it's not colorless, so it can only be ran in decks that are green. What if it's not a land-based deck? Does it do good there? Well, okay, maybe it's a flicker deck. I mean, this will get you a lot there, right? 7 and that. Okay, but if it's not a land-based deck and you're running it like a 3-color deck and you cast it, and, you know, if you don't have fetch lands, then, like, you get 0-1s, you get 7 0-1s on ETB, and then, like, you just play a land and you go, like, cool. Now I've got 7 1-2s. And then next turn they become 2 3s. And Avengers of 5-5. I don't get it, guys. Correct me. Why? Why is it loved? Nostalgia, sure. But, like, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't. Even if you were, like, running a ETB burn deck, right? Where, like, you're making tokens to do burn. And Avengers Zendikar comes down and you have 10 lands. And Perforos is on the field. And you do 20 damage to each of your opponents. Maybe that kills one person if they've been behind. And now you gotta, like, flicker it to get more. Battlesphere does this, but for generic, it can be ran in any deck. It doesn't have to have green in it. I don't get the love of this. I run Meteor Golem before I run Avengers Zendikar. Okay, maybe not that bad, but I don't... Please. Someone save me. Before the comments crucify me for hating on Avengers Zendikar. Someone in the comments explain what the hype is around this card. It doesn't do anything. It's landfall and it's tokens. And both are popular. And it's an ETB and Flicker's popular. That's why it's popular. That's why it's ran. Because it's got land-based decks, Flicker decks, and token decks. 3 of the most popular decks out there. There you go. That's why it's number 1. Because the only thing that matters in this life is what deck types are being used. And does that card fit in my deck? And Avenger fits in 3 out of like 300 different deck types you can build. So it's gotta be the best. I hate it. This is the best 7-drop. This is the actual best 7-drop. I just like my mama bear. But this is the actual best 7-drop. It will overtake Avengers Zendikar at some point. I hope. It just shouldn't be number 1. Let me know if you agree or disagree. This was a long video. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.